Found our way through the lost years.
This new Beck album is a bit of an enigma, really. I'm definitely one of those Beck fans that enjoys his wilder, more experimental side. You know, that more risk-taking side of Beck's discography that kind of peaked with albums such as Odelay, or even like the party-ready Midnight Vultures. Though it doesn't mean I don't enjoy his slower and folkier albums as well, like One Foot in the Grave, which is more raw and sincere, or the much sadder and more syrupy Sea Change. Truth is, Beck's never really had a central identity, especially as his vocals, whether he's singing or rapping, aren't hugely distinct. But what separates him from the rest is his obtuseness and his willingness to make big musical statements, letting the overall sound of his music do the talking. So while I didn't enjoy 2014's Morning phase all the way through, I still appreciate the layering of instrumentation and how lush and vibrant it can be at times. And with this new album Colors in mind, I don't think Beck does a bad job at the pop appeal sort of thing. In the past he has pulled it off with Midnight Vultures and especially Guero with amazing singles such as Girl and even some of the other quirkier pop tunes like Black Tambourine or Heck Yes. So why worry? Well, there's worry because Beck's Colors is an album that sacrifices a lot of what made Beck interesting as an artist to begin with, in favour of pushing out these really glossy and radio-friendly pop tunes. Which I guess isn't inherently a bad thing if Beck wants to appeal to that kind of audience, that kind of mainstream contemporary audience, but I guess he kind of does it in a way that isn't that interesting at all. They do have a bit of an adult contemporary veneer about them, but a lot of these songs sound Beckless. Like I wouldn't have realized Beck was in charge of writing or singing these songs if I went to this album not having seen the album title, the artist, or the cover. Not to deny that this album has its colourful instrumentals with its frequent use of acoustic guitars and the electronic edits used throughout, like the skips on the track Dreams. But overall, I feel like this was a safe play for Beck. Like he was playing towards a more commercial audience, but forgetting to kindle what made him intriguing in the first place. Even a song like Dreams, which I enjoyed as far back as 2015, with its, as I said before, its cool little skippy manipulations and its pretty catchy hook, loses its appeal in the context of the record because being around other generic pop songs exposes how much Dreams is one of those generic pop songs. It really fits right into the track listing, actually sounding like a Foster the People song that would have been on the album Torches. The one exception on this album is the song Wow, the rather polarizing and spooky and left field single with rap verses and a rather sparse nocturnal beat. It's nocturnal and almost like it's at nighttime, but the beat sounds lively and like it's at daytime. I don't think it was a perfect track in my opinion, but it at least showed potential for a pop album that was willing to take a risk or two. I feel like Wow does get a bit stale as it goes on, even though the la 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 chorus is fun, and it even sounds a bit unsettling and alien-like against the beat, which sounds like it's carrying a completely different tone or interval.
It's like wow. It's like right now.
But it's intriguing nonetheless, and the more I looked into this Wow single, I eventually realized this is the only song on the album where I actually want to look into the song to see what makes me feel this way about it. Because the rest don't really do that. They're so run-of-the-mill in the field of adult contemporary pop and electropop that ultimately I don't have anything interesting to say or to notice about them. Colors is undoubtedly a stab at reaching for a more widespread pop-consuming audience, which isn't inherently a bad thing, as I said before. It's just that the music here is super bland and sounds like the soundtrack to the next FIFA game. I'm giving this album a 3 out of 10.